Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Guns of Mike's Collection. Today we're going to be going over one that's pretty cool. I remember roughly when I got it, it was in 2010. That's all I know. Like I said in the past couple of videos, at a certain point I lose the chronological order, and I don't remember because so many things were going on at that point, trading and stuff. So a lot of these guns, I remember the year that I got them, but not really the exact date. So it's not going to be chronological from here on out. But this is still a very important one, because this was the first time that I had ever purchased one of these, and this is the first time I had ever shot one, which is really fun with live rounds. I'd shot it with blanks before. But yeah, so we'll just talk about it really quick. My M1 rifle, US Rifle Caliber 30 M1, better known colloquially as the M1 Garand, right? This one was at that same shop I was telling you about with the K98. This thing came in, it was either a couple weeks before, I think it was a couple weeks after I got the K98, right? And it was just sitting on the rack behind the counter, which, you know, usually the more expensive guns are back there. And I'm like, oh God. It's like, well, can I just check that out? And then I was looking at it, and I'm just like, okay, this is pretty cool. And I was like, okay, this is probably going to be at least, you know, $1,000, even though M1s are going for 500 in this condition. You know, or actually lesser condition than this. It was between 500 and 1,000, but the 1,000 ones were going to be like really nice at that point. And so I had the price tag on there, and it was $650. And I was like, well, I can actually do that, because I was making decent money at that point. And I made the mistake. Don't ever do this if you're at a gun shop, by the way. If you see a price like that where you're like, fuck yeah, I'm going to finally get a nice rifle, and you're trying to negotiate, don't ever say, what's wrong with it? Because then they go, what do you mean? And you're like, why is it priced so low? I don't know, that's what they wanted. And then it's like, and then I was like, ah shit, I just screwed myself out of any form of negotiation, because they already know it's the best price. So that was a mistake. I mean, I remember that very well. At this shop, I was just looking at it, and I'm like, what's wrong with it? I don't know. I was like, shit. So don't ever do that. Anyway, we'll move on. But yeah, I ended up paying $650 for this, and I mean, this has been, I put that on there because I'm going to be using it for the film Reveille in a couple weeks, and we needed the lock bars, and then the early style gas plug, and then I don't know if I have the milled trigger guard. No, that doesn't matter. Anyway, we just need those little features. So, but it came in, you know, post-Korean War configuration basically, and this is a 1956 or 57 Springfield manufactured one. Yeah, it's like it's a 7-digit serial number. So yeah, it's one of the last M1s ever made. But I didn't care at that point. I just wanted an M1, and I'm so glad I got this thing. And yeah, so I went out and shot this thing, got it zeroed, and then had to learn how to use these sights and zero them and whatever, and it's actually pretty fun. This thing is a tack driver. This thing is insanely accurate. It's so fun to shoot. I love the M1. I've since acquired another one, but that'll be on a later video because that was a very recent one. But, so I have 2 of these total, and one Winchester, and this is the Springfield. But this is the first one that I ever got in 2010, and it was, you know, I had this, a K98, and I think I had the Arisaka, so I was starting to try to get every main power's rifle from World War II, which I think I've since gotten really close to doing, except for the UK. I actually don't have a British number 4 Mark 1, I have a Canadian one. So I'll have to get one of those someday, but they're getting expensive. Anyway, I'm losing track of what I'm doing here. Yeah, so got a bunch of end blocks for this thing, and then let people shoot it. And it was so fun to just go out there and just blast rounds. And then, God, that was back when you could go to a gun show still and get like the bandoliers of HXP on end blocks for like $10 for a bandolier, $10 for 48 rounds plus the clips. And so yeah, we'd go to gun shows. I'd go there with like a few $100, and we'd just get boxes of this ammo that they would have with these bandoliers, and go out and just blast this stuff. Didn't save the brass until the following year, which really was stupid, but yeah, this thing was just a blast. Everybody loved this thing, and everybody wanted to shoot it all the time. And yeah, and it was funny because like then this screw in the front sight base started coming loose, so it would move and then it would fall off, and I was like, oh, this is a piece of crap, whatever. And then there was something else that it would do. Oh, yeah, it would slam fire every once in a while. And this is the only one I've ever shot that does that. I don't know if the firing pin's just kind of loose or whatever, but every once in a while, you don't expect it, and it happens so fast that it's still in the first shot's recoil. But you know it fired twice, so it's not that great. I wouldn't use this for target shooting, but as far as like hunting and stuff, I have hunted with this and dropped deer with it. It drops them pretty well. But I actually scored, let's see, I've dropped 3 or 4 deer with this thing, because I try to use a different rifle every time. And I actually scored a headshot at like 100 yards with this thing, because it's that accurate and easy to use, and the trigger's very nice. So yeah, I scored a headshot with this on a deer because that was actually the only shot I had, and it was a pretty nice sized deer. And anyway, yes, I ended up getting that done. But yeah, it does once in a while, this particular one. But I mean, I've heard that's fairly common with these guys, especially if you're using. It only happens with commercial ammo, so it might be the primers are very soft and there actually is enough force. Because it doesn't happen with surplus ammo with this. So I just figured that out. Cool. See, this is why I like making these videos. I actually come to realize some things once in a while. But yeah, this is a rifle that's really cool. I don't think it's the best rifle ever made. That's another video. I think I've covered that before many times where it's like, yeah, it's okay, but I think there are better designs, and this is fairly dated. So, anyway, that's all I've got for this one. This one's going to be pretty damn short because there's not much else to say. It's a nice M1. My goddamn battery died! So, anyway, I was just about done with the video anyway, but I wanted to take some time to thank the sponsors of this video and all the rest of my content, who are my Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members. So if you want to become a supporter like them and help me expand my content and do things that are fun, you can become a supporter as well by clicking the link in the description to my Patreon or becoming a YouTube channel member. Now, there is a little bit of a perk to being a Patreon supporter because I do release exclusive podcasts on there every month, depending on your tier, $5 a month or more. And it's a pretty cool perk. People are liking them so far, kind of spicier rants and things like that I don't really put out to the public. So that's a perk of becoming a Patreon supporter. But both methods of support, $5 a month or more, gets you into my Discord server. So it's up to you. And yeah, it really helps me make cool content and stuff like that. Crowdfunding has really helped me be able to do things that I normally wouldn't be able to do. So there's that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Guns of Mike's Collection.